Howdy folks, Little John in the brewery. I'm knocking up a new Brewventure beer, Brewventure number 4. Some of you may have seen this one, a little bit of a hint what was coming on Facebook recently. I had 2 bottles of this. What that is, that's water from the Pacific Ocean. Was pointed out that's specifically it's actually water from Jervis Bay, which comes from the Tasman Sea, which initially flows from the Pacific Ocean. So there's Pacific Ocean water at its heart. This comes when I was down in Huskisson last week, and I was just thinking about, and I took some beers down with me, and I was sitting out on the back deck of the house on the Saturday afternoon, and one of the beers I took was the corn beer I brewed last year, which was one of the Brewventure beers. Now, there wasn't an original, I didn't do a video, or I did do a video, but the camera stuffed up and we lost it, and I couldn't load it to the channel. So there was no brew day on that. There was tasting days on that. And I was sitting drinking what I think is essentially the second last bottle of that brew, and I'm sitting there looking at the Pacific Ocean and thinking about it. And then that night, while in bed, bang, it come to me, this idea for this new brew. I've been thinking of redoing the corn beer with a bit less corn, just up the body and the sort of and the malt flavour a little bit, and just play around with it a little bit. I've got a whack of lemon drop hops in the fridge, so. But they go together alright. I've done the cervezas previously where I've actually put salt into the bottle as part of the priming process, and they come up alright, and I don't mind a bit of salt and the lemon in that style of beer. So it's coming up, why don't I just put all these things together? Why not actually use some salt, some of the ocean water, lemon drop hops, and let's go for a whole thing, get the corny cerveza style brew with a little bit of salt in there and a little bit of and some lemon from the hops. So that was the plan. So I've been running through some ideas without looking back at the old corn beer and playing around and trying to work out what I come at. So I've got to where I'm at. So currently at the moment I've got the Brewzilla is on, the Robo Brew. I'm doing it at 11 litres into the fermenter, so I've currently got 15 litres of water in the Robo Brew. Now, after a little bit of playing around with quantities last night with the salt water and plain water, I've worked out that I want about 4% ocean water in the mash to get me a level I'm reasonably happy with. Now, when I say reasonably happy, I wasn't real pleased with the actual saltiness I was getting. It's not the same as adding, say, like rock salt back into the brew, but given that was just straight water, there's no malt involved, there's no hops involved, no carbonation, it's a little hard to tell. But at 4%, I think I'm pretty happy with that level. There's enough saltiness that it's going to be, I think it should be noticeable, but not enough that's going to be overpowering. I think I put a little bit higher and it just started becoming just too much. So 600 mils of that 15 litres mash water is the ocean water, and I've got that up to 67 degrees. Actually set on 68. We'll leave it there. And to that I have added my grain. Now, as I said, the original corned beer was 60% corn, 40%. I think it was Pilsner by memory. Now I pulled it down from that. Wrong group, so that's not going to help. But anyway, so today I'm going at 60% Marisota, 40% corn. Now I'm using flaked corn. You saw there on the front. It's picked up a bag cheap recently. From Crisp Malting. It's, you know, I think the flake corn, you can get it from most home brew shops. They had a deal. I got a big bag of it. I'm going to mostly use it for making bourbon, but it's pre-gelatinised. It doesn't need to be cereal mashed. It doesn't need the mucking around that stuff does with corn. So I'm hoping I should just get a straight result with that. We'll see how we go and we take some numbers later. I'm hoping I shouldn't need to use any enzymes. On the original corn beer, I used polenta. And from what I can tell, it really shouldn't be much difference. So we'll see how that goes. So I said that's mashing. I'm hoping for, there'll be about a 3 litre, bit under a 3 litre sparge. I'm hoping for an original gravity of 1045 in the fermenter with a final gravity of 1010. So about a 4.6% beer before priming. So all good. I've added a little bit of salts to the on top of the water, on top of the ocean water. Bit of calcium absorbate, vitamin C, just to drive off chlorine. Touch of calcium chloride just to help with some late hops. And a whack of gypsum. I'm probably a little bit heavy on the gypsum than I normally would, trying to bring up some snappiness on the initial bitterness, to break through the lightness of the from the corn. So it's mashing at the moment. I'm just going to mash it for 60 minutes, then ramp it up to 75, and do a straightforward sparge. I'm not mucking around too much with it. Okay, just grab the hydro sample, refresh sample, see what we're looking at. We're about 45 minutes into the mash. 10:41, 10:42. So we're looking for 10:45. Yep, so that's pretty much spot on where we want to be. We're allowed for a boil, so I'm pretty happy. It would appear that the corn's converting as it should, so shouldn't need to worry about any enzymes or anything like that, either in the mash or in the ferment, so that's good. Righto, mash is finished. It's raised temp to 75. And once she's there, we'll hold it for 10 minutes and we'll sparge. Righto, mash out completed. Looking good. This pipe up and get sparge on. We've got in cold water. I've had no problem sparging in cold water. So we'll get this temperature ready for a boil. All good. Alright, so run this through. We'll sit down in a second, we'll talk about hops. Righto. Sparge just finishes this draining, it's coming up to temperature. So let's have a look at what we're hopping with here. So, following from the last corn beer, I'm still going to bit up with Galliner. I guess that's a good hop, I like it. So, yeah, this style of beer. Probably comes a bit of a caning because of its association with Corona, but that aside, it's quite a good hop. So we've got 16 grams in the recipe, but that's 5.8 alpha. This is 10.8, so we might drop that back to 12. Yeah, even 10. Should have checked my bloody alpha before I printed the recipe off, but I didn't. So anyway, so that's our bittering addition. That was just 60 minutes. So adjust that to 12. We've got some very late additions. As I said, I was looking for lemon drop, but I'm not just going lemon drop on its own. I don't think that on its own it works well enough. I'm going to clean it up with a bit of Citra and a bit of Galaxy. So I've got the Citra, and we go 25 grams of Citra. Put it back off. We'll go 22. Okay, so the Galliner I was looking for, I think was around 22 IBU up front. So I'm trying to get just a nice bit of sting in the front of the brew without being ridiculous. So Citra, 22 grams. They'll go in with 2 minutes left in the boil, and that I think was about 6 IBU. Somewhere around there anyway. Then at flame out I'm going to add Galaxy. Now I've got 15 grams here on the recipe. Packet here tells me I've got 20, so yeah, 20. I'm just going to go with that. I mean, you can't have too much Galaxy, especially with flame out. And the last one will be our lemon drop, which will be 30 grams. Now, again, this is big shout out to Heavy Bristol, the hopping mechanism. He sent me this. It was the end of a batch of lemon drop. He tells me it's all dust. It looks like it could well be. So we'll see how we go working with this. Let's get some air back into this vacuum pack. As far as we're concerned, for brewing, it should not make any difference. And I'm going to go about 35 grams. Okay. This stuff's pretty bloody solid, I tell you. A bit like bloody hop hash to some degree in its look, but obviously not in its makeup, but there, it's just broken down pellets. $32. That'll do me nicely. Smells like the business anyway. So okay, so they're all good to go. So the patrons, I'm going to be shooting out a whack of this to Greg Brevet. I said about 2 weeks ago I was going to send out some hops to a lucky patron. The nonsense has been the last couple of weeks, I just haven't got to it, but I will be sending that out some stage this week. It will be a whack of the lemon drop, and I might throw a little bit extra of something in as well. So Greg, good luck. Cheers to you. Patrons, cheers to all the patrons. It's always worth thinking about being a patron, supporting little John, and having a look at the extras you can get. Link down the bottom, have a look if you're interested. Anyway, that's it. Hops are weighed out. We're just about up to a boil. Sparge sounds like it's finished, so I'll go and get my eyes on that, and we'll come back, have a bit of a chat once it's all finished through, we've got it cool, and look at some final numbers. Okay, we passed cooling. I've just transferred to the fermenter. I got caught up doing stuff with the wife late this Savo, so I wasn't didn't get any footage of the cooling and whatnot. But anyway, so all hops went in fine. I've got a gravity was 1045, spot on. But I am a litre under. I've got not actually, it's probably bloody more like 3/4 of a litre. Got a bit over 10 litres in the fermenter, so give or take, with the fermenter's out a little bit anyway, so reasonably close. I'm pretty happy with what I got. So I'll be pitching this fella. It's Rocky Mountain Lager. I might have mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if I did or not earlier. But, it's been sitting for 24 hours. It's just starting to, the last few hours are starting to kick along. So I'm pretty happy to just drop that in now. As I said, I'm going to do a first fast ferment process on this one, so it'll run, go in now. I'll drop the temperature down to 9 degrees. Ambient at the moment sitting on about 23 degrees. So it's a little warmer than I'd like, but I don't have to muck around too much. So I'm happy to let this go at a higher temperature for another couple of hours. It's still lagging. It's not going to do anything too much. By the morning it'll be down to 9 degrees. It'll kick along nicely. I'll ramp it a degree each day till next Friday when she's around 15. Actually no, I'm going to go right through to 18. and then hold it there for a couple of days, and then probably look at cold crashing. I'm going to do a IPA next Friday, so I'm going to need that in the fridge at the same time, so the two will coincide with one another, so that will have an impact on exactly how long it ferments before I cold crash, depending how that IPA goes. So that's the go at the moment. So Pacific Ocean Corn Ale done. It smells good. It's tasting good. The salt's noticeable. Without being like crazy. Nice hops. Nice sweetness. I think it's off to a good start, so hopefully it'll finish up alright. But this one will take a little while. It's going to take a little bit to ferment. It's going to take a while in the bottle to come good, so realistically probably looking at least 2 months before this one's going to get any serious tasting done on it. So maybe don't be in a rush to see that, because it's not going to happen fast. But in the meantime, if you've got any questions, yeah, ask away. Get any comments sticking down the bottom. If you aren't subscribed to Little John's, hit the subscribe button down in the corner. Get subscribed. Come along with what we're doing, so you know what's happening. Don't miss anything. As always, Patreons. Cheers everybody. If you're interested in Patreon, or you know, maybe keen to look at what it is, what it's about, hit the link down the bottom. Just a way of helping out Little John, and yeah, there's little bits and pieces to come back to you as well from being a patron. But for now, I'm done. I'm going to pitch this yeast, get this in the fridge, and get it doing its thing. So I'm done. I'm out of here. So Little John, till I see you again. We're drinking beer, talking beer, brewing beer. Good brewing.